Welcome to Learning with Auntie Anu Alwyn, where stories come alive, lessons become adventures, and every video helps you grow smarter, kinder, and braver. Get comfy, open your imagination, and let's begin today's amazing story adventure. In a bright little town filled with laughter, colorful houses, and playful children, there lived a boy who always wanted more. More toys, more candy, more attention. He believed that having the biggest and best things would make him the happiest kid in the world. But sometimes when greed grows too big inside our hearts, it can push away the people who care about us most. This is the story of a boy who learned that kindness, sharing, and gratitude are worth far more than anything money can buy. Welcome to The Greedy Kid Learned a Lesson. The boy's name was Ethan. He was smart, energetic, and loved collecting toys more than anything else. His room was packed with race cars, video games, robots, stuffed animals, and giant boxes filled with candy. But no matter how many things Ethan had, he was never satisfied. Whenever his parents bought him something new, he only smiled for a moment before asking for something even bigger. His parents worried that Ethan cared more about getting than giving. At school, Ethan always bragged about his newest toys. During lunch break, he refused to share snacks with classmates and laughed whenever another child had something smaller or older than his. One afternoon, his best friend Noah brought a small homemade toy airplane made by his grandfather. Instead of being kind, Ethan mocked the toy and said it looked cheap and silly. Noah felt hurt and quietly walked away while the other children stared in disappointment. A few days later, Ethan received an invitation to the biggest birthday party in town. The birthday boy, Lucas, was known for throwing exciting parties filled with games, music, and huge gift bags. Ethan became obsessed with choosing the most expensive gifts so everyone would admire him. He begged his parents to buy a giant remote control car that cost far more than the family planned to spend. After days of complaining, they finally gave in. When Ethan arrived at the party carrying the enormous gift box, he expected everyone to cheer for him. At first, the children gathered around in amazement. Ethan smiled proudly and acted as if he were more important than everyone else. But while showing off, he accidentally knocked over the table holding the birthday cake, drinks, and decorations. Frosting splattered everywhere. Juice spilled across the floor. The room fell completely silent. Ethan expected somebody else to clean up the mess, but instead, all the children stepped back from him. Lucas looked sad, not angry, and quietly said, "I cared more about my friends being kind than about expensive presents." Ethan suddenly realized nobody was impressed by his giant gift anymore. The children rushed to help clean the mess while Ethan stood frozen with shame. Even Noah, the friend Ethan once mocked, helped pick up the broken decorations with a smile. That evening, Ethan sat alone in his room surrounded by piles of toys, but for the first time, none of them made him happy. He remembered how Noah looked after being laughed at. He remembered how disappointed everyone seemed at the party. Slowly, Ethan began to understand something important. His greed and selfishness were pushing people away. Even though he owned so many things, he felt lonelier than ever before. The next morning, Ethan noticed his little neighbor Mia sitting sadly outside her house. Her old teddy bear had ripped apart, and she could not afford a new one. Ethan looked at the mountain of stuffed animals in his room and suddenly felt guilty. He had so much while others had so little. For the first time in a long while, Ethan thought less about himself and more about someone else. After thinking carefully, Ethan picked his favorite teddy bear from his collection and walked over to Mia's house. At first, he hesitated because he had never given away something he truly loved before. But when Mia's face lit up with joy after receiving the teddy bear, Ethan felt a warm happiness he had never experienced from buying toys for himself. It was a different kind of joy, the joy of making someone else smile. Later that day, Ethan visited Noah and apologized for mocking the homemade airplane. Noah smiled kindly and explained that his grandfather built the toy with love, which made it special to him. Ethan finally understood that valuable things are not always expensive things. Sometimes the greatest treasures are the ones filled with care, friendship, and happy memories. The two friends spent the afternoon flying the little airplane together and laughing like old times. Over the next few weeks, Ethan began changing completely. He shared snacks at school, donated old toys to children in need, and stopped bragging about what he owned. To his surprise, he started making more friends than ever before. Kids no longer avoided him. They enjoyed being around him because he had become kinder, more generous, and more thoughtful. Ethan discovered that people remembered how you treated them far more than the things you owned. By the end of the year, Ethan had learned the lesson that changed his life forever. Greed may fill your room with things, but kindness fills your heart with happiness. The boy who once cared only about himself now understood the true value of sharing, friendship, and gratitude. And from that day forward, Ethan no longer tried to be the kid with the most toys. Instead, he tried to be the kid with the biggest heart. So remember, boys and girls, being generous makes the world brighter for everyone. Would you have shared your favorite toy if you were Ethan? Tell us your answer in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more fun and heartwarming stories for kids.